It's Janet Gemmel with Cape Fear Family Law.
And I'm Jessica Arthur, attorney here with Cape Fear Family Law.
So we're going to be talking to you about the lawsuit that FKA Twigs filed against Shia LaBeouf. I'm in Team Shia on this one a little bit. I know Jessica's not. So we're going to talk to you about the differences here. So the lawsuit, of course, alleges that Shia in the relationship was just abusive. And it's always interesting to me when we look at these things and these cases that pop up about just the allegations in the complaint, because that's all we have, right? Like we were not there. And it's just like any other case that comes to us when we're attorneys. We get our client's side of things, we put it in a complaint and a pleading, and then we file that with the court. And when we're on the other side, for example, if we were representing Shia in this case, we would get the complaint and we'd have to go talk to him and make an answer and a counterclaim if he has any claims. In this action, he's alleged to have committed sexual battery, abuse. She even alleges that he gave her an STD, which is a pretty significant issue. We've had that in some of our cases. Somebody will go in for their third pregnancy and find out they have herpes or some other STD, and it's pretty traumatic. And both parties, sometimes in those cases, both parties alleging the other party gave it to them. So in this case, FKA Twigs alleges that Shia gave it to her. She started dating Shia after or during the time that they were shooting Honey Boy. And Honey Boy, of course, is a quasi-autobiographical story about Shia's life. And I've done a little bit of research online through YouTube. Who doesn't research through YouTube nowadays? About Shia. And interestingly, he got court-ordered to go to counseling. And out of that counseling, he had to do a lot of writing. And that writing turned into the script for Honey Boy. And then he even started as his father, the abusive yet loved father in that story, and has come to some grips and some terms with that relationship. But that doesn't mean all of those problems were solved. And it's so interesting, isn't it, Jess, that you're walking into this lawsuit with that history. Because when somebody knows about somebody's history, they also can sometimes know exactly how to trigger them. And I've seen that in many cases where somebody knows, yeah, I know how to make you angry, and then they do it. So I know that she's alleging that she's filing this for other people, that she's alleging that she's wanting to safeguard other women from ever dating him again. Yeah, okay. Clearly, you also believe that you're going to get an outcome, a financial, monetary outcome, because also in all of the news articles that we've read online, she says, I'm going to donate some portion of my recovery to charity. Some portion? Why aren't you giving all of it to charity if you think you're going to help some girls to not date Shia? Come on now. I don't believe it for 2 seconds. I think that if you really felt like you've got some type of abuse going on, I don't see any domestic violence action records here. I don't see any calls to law enforcement. And yet, some of these incidents happened over years or over months, and she still stayed.
We see this all the time. People just get stuck in this mindset and this horrible reality, and they get kind of sucked away from their people that they trust, people that they love. And that sounds like, when I'm reading this, exactly what happened to her, that she just got sucked into this new world. And so yeah, I think she just couldn't find her way out for a long time. Luckily, it sounds like she was in mental health treatment and her therapist helped her find an exit strategy. So yeah, I'm absolutely calling her a victim. When people are stuck in those domestic violence relationships, they have this mental state, like it's almost like their brain physically changes and they can't see a way out. And she actively describes that in a very open and honest way, which is amazing, because I think a lot of domestic violence victims could really relate to that. He took her away from everything she knew. She's from London. He took her away from her friends, her family. She was out there with no one. They had the same home together. All of her things were there. And you might look at it and say, well, that's just things. I understand that, but it also changes how you truly think about a situation. When you're in it, you can't see a way out. So I fully believe that that's what happened, and she couldn't see a way out at that time. And thank God she got help, so someone could actively step in and help her see that exit, see how to get out. She's talking about the mental and physical abuse and how he would talk to her, but it's the highs and the lows, right? Like, he would go over the top, wonderful, and then he would hit her with something bad. That's why people end up getting stuck in this cycle, right? Because right when they're finally getting the strength or the ability or just the gumption to get up and leave, that's when things get great again, right? The abuser can see, oh, I need to turn on the charm, and it makes a huge difference. So you get stuck in this cycle where it's really bad, I'm ready to get out, oh, but he's turned on the charm and he's gone over the top and he's sorry and things will get better. So I absolutely think there's some counterclaims he could have. I mean, she picked a heck of a time to release all this. If she broke up with him last year, 2 weeks before he's getting ready to have a big movie release that is apparently, you know, in the lineup of possible Oscar nominations, I think definitely she's gonna hurt his income. She's gonna hurt his career, depending on what comes out as true and false, because he's come out and said that not everything she said is true and accurate, and depending on the evidence he has, maybe harming his character, defamation, libel, all that stuff. I think that is something I'm sure his attorneys are looking into.
I think that some of the counterclaims could be intentional infliction of emotional distress, where Shia says, look, you did these things to me also, because we haven't heard his side at all. I worry a little bit that Shia's in a little bit one of those shame cycles where this has come on and now he's going to feel shame, which is going to add to his problems. But you wonder what was going on her side of things. So I think he could do intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent infliction of emotional distress, maybe tortious interference with employment. You've heard Jessica talk about the movie that he has coming out, and whether this is for publicity on that, or if it's for maybe some monetary gain off of that movie, who knows?
I think it's interesting that they're including ex-girlfriends that clearly are not a part of this action. I guess to show a pattern of history, a pattern of behavior, prior bad acts. I'm not really sure what they're setting up for, other than to maybe also make this claim more credible. And now the ex-girlfriends are coming forward and saying she's not the first. I think going back all the way, to 2012? Ex-girlfriends, ex-wives are coming forward and saying, yeah, we experienced the same behavior. I think it's interesting that she's saying she's doing it for the future women. Maybe if one of his ex-girlfriends had come forward, she would have been more cautious. You never know. Some people listen, some people don't. I think it's good that she's coming forward, and hopefully he gets the help that it sounds like he needs. Hopefully she's in mental health treatment too. I hope everyone just moves forward and gets better.
I don't think that you're going to be able to use modus operandi or MO evidence or evidence of things that he's done in the past, like to his previous dating relationships, to prove your case. If he committed sexual battery on you, he did that to you. It is not about what he did to somebody else, unless she's also a party to the action, which it doesn't sound like she is. And she might not be, because maybe it's over the statute of limitations, or maybe it never happened. So trying to use evidence from someone else makes your evidence weaker. If it happened to you and is strong enough to exist on its own, then use it. Stop trying to drag in other people to prove that something happened to you. I did not like the fact at all that this attorney that represents FKA Twigs commented on the lawsuit to news media. In North Carolina, we have a lot of rules that attorneys have to practice under. And it is my belief that we're not allowed to talk to the media. We're allowed to, but we shouldn't. It is discouraged highly until the case is over, which makes me believe a little even more that this is about drama, news media, all the things the lawsuit should not be about. A lawsuit should be about having a grievance that needs to be redressed. And let's hope that that is what this is really about. I know that in this case, just right now, based off what I know about it, I would dismiss the lawsuit for Shia. So make sure that you smash the like button. Tell us what you like. Tell us whose side you're on. And thanks for coming.